What's up, you guys? Welcome to my workshop where today I'm going to be showing you how to make a matcha latte at home. And my whole intention with this video is to show you how to make a matcha latte with everyday household items. So you don't have to go out and spend 50, 60, 70 bucks on a bamboo whisk, a matcha bowl, stuff like that. Because many of you may have never tried a matcha latte before or tried making it at home. And this is a great place for you to learn if this is an endeavor that you want to get involved in. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start off with any kind of mesh strainer. You might have some for pasta. This isn't made for tea. I'm kind of just using this one just to show you can use any fine mesh strainer. And what you wanna do is weigh out 6 grams of our matcha latte powder. Now I know a lot of you guys out there might not have a scale, and that's okay too. You can just do 1 rounded teaspoon of the matcha powder. So you're gonna go just about here. And we're gonna put that right into the fine mesh strainer because after this, we're gonna whisk it. And what we don't wanna do is have all these chunks of matcha in our latte because that doesn't taste good. Okay, so now you'll notice the matcha powder is very fine and ready for water. So I have my kettle heated to 80 degrees Celsius. If you don't have a kettle that can take temperature like that, let the water come to a boil and then wait a minute. Let it cool down and then use that water. And all we're gonna do is pour 40 grams of water over the matcha powder. Now, if you don't have a scale, you just want to do enough so you kind of have enough to whisk, almost like the consistency of maybe like thin pancake mix. You can see I'm just enough so there's enough there for me to whisk. Some of you may have one of these bamboo whisks for matcha at home. And if you do, what you want to do is stick it in the middle of your bowl and just whisk up and down. You just want to go back and forth. You don't want to do circles. You don't want to push it down towards the bottom. You kind of want to stay in the middle of the matcha, in the middle of the liquid, and just go back and forth. It's okay if you kind of have to scrape around the edges to get some of the powder in there. But you're just going back and forth and you'll see little bubbles form on the top. You want those. That's a good sign. Now, some of you might not have this, totally understandable. But what you can use, what many of you may have, is this electric whisk. You can also use one of these. This is a really easy method if you want to kind of just rip through it. Or some of you, I'm sure you have a fork. You can also use one of these, kind of tilt the bowl to the side like this, and just whisk it like you would eggs, if you're going to scramble eggs. And just whisk it until there's no clumps left on the bottom. And then, if you try the matcha and you love it, which I hope you do, then you can swap over to something like this. Because this whisk, honestly, it does make the consistency much better. And if you're going to get involved in something like ceremonial matcha, you want those little fine bubbles on the top. But okay, now we have our, as my daughter calls this, Shrek juice. We have our delicious green matcha. And you can almost think of this as like an espresso shot. We could pour water in here and drink it just like that. We can mix this with foamed hot milk and make a hot latte. Or on a hot summer day, we can take a mason jar like this. We pour the matcha in here. Now, this matcha is already sweetened if you have the purple can. The sweetened latte grade matcha powder, this already has a little bit of sugar in there. It's not a lot, it's less than 2 grams per serving. But for me, I have a sweet tooth. And we have a grocery in Vermont. I'm hooked on maple syrup. I love putting just a little bit of maple syrup in with my matcha latte. You just give it a quick swirl. You don't have to do this, all right? But I know some of you guys out there, if you're buying the sweetened latte grade, you probably have a sweet tooth too. I'm just gonna take some milk and I'm just gonna fill up my mason jar here. The thing about matcha is a lot of it is about your preference. You can stop here, you could fill it up a little bit more, a little bit less. My recommendation is the first time you make matcha, you think of it as a learning opportunity and you kind of just eyeball it to what you think would be best, taste it, and then make the proper adjustments for the next time. It's not super specific. Even though Japanese culture is a very specific, very to the book, very to the point kind of thing, when it comes to a matcha latte, make it the way that you like it. So, I like mine with a little bit of maple syrup. I like it a little bit stronger, and I like mine iced with whole milk. But you guys do you. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and enjoy your matcha latte. Ooh, that's good.